Good evening, traders. It's Mark here from the day trading room. It's 10:15 London time on Wednesday evening, Wednesday the 18th of August, and it's been a bit of a deja vu day today, really, on the Dow and the S&P. The market opened up relatively flat this time, but it was about the same level as yesterday. We've got a lot of chop in the morning with some good setups. And then we had this brutal rally around the lunchtime period, which just wouldn't pull back at all. So anyone who was short in the top of this range and who didn't take a stop and stick to their discipline would have been absolutely well and truly trashed by that one. But funnily enough, if you look at yesterday's action, this is what I wanted to show you today, is that we had a very similar day yesterday, even though the rally started earlier. What I do want to point out is this here. Now, we had this push up, push up, push up yesterday with hardly any pullbacks. If you look at the distance of the pullback, the top of that was 85, the low of that was 77. So an 8.8 tick pullback here, 60 to 70, a 10 tick pullback. So 10 ticks was the biggest pullback you got, which again was very similar to today. We've got the most pullback we got today on this rally was 6 ticks, I believe. So no chance for anybody to scale out of their position if they were adding. So real brutal rally there, real squeeze. But the interesting point is this area here, this area right here. Now this happened yesterday, and I like to take the first tick pull back to zero after a rally, and of course this happened around this time here. But what I wanted to point out more importantly was this action. This is unusual action for the Dow, for the YM. This tape support at exactly 10,400, exactly, not even allowing it to sniff under. Now if you're watching the tape at this time or during this rally, you would have seen an 80 lot, 83 lot reloading on the bid, taking some offers and reloading on the bid. Then he'd drop back a bit and then he'd reload, he'd take a few more offers and push up, and that was what caused this grind and grind up. And finally he'd started to become a little bit more passive. So when the sellers decided to come in and perceive this as some value, he just sat there at this 10,400, reloading, reloading, reloading passively, and we had a massive amount of trade done at that level. Now of course this is a perfect trade for a scalper like us. If you can see this and you can spot this and you can coincide it with a general setup, i.e. first pullback from a long trend, time it with the ticks, your risk reward can be huge. You can literally be risking 3 or 4 ticks and then looking for a new high. Fantastic. But today was almost identical, and I was looking out for it when I saw this brutal rally which just squeezed the shorts. Look here, the same situation. Okay, so it's 10,409 this time, but we had a huge amount of trade, and look, guess what? The first pullback to when the ticks were zero was right there, and yep, you're right, I took that long. That is an absolute beautiful setup, and to have it 2 days in a row is just a dream, because you've seen that rally. You've got to think who's caught in that. It's shorts, and they're screaming because they're waiting for a pullback. They just want to get out. They're desperate. They've been assuming that it was going to rotate down here. It consolidated. There was a big buyer on the tape. He was just sitting there. It wasn't even dropping a tick. He did not let it drop a tick. And then of course you get a little extra push up. The ticks are pulled to zero. Perfect little trade. And then these last 3 or 4 candles are just the shorts capitulating, and you can just see it. They're just taking the market, buying the offers. They're just sweeping it, just getting out, getting out. So fantastic setup if you can get it. And then the other one, that's a great rally, taking the first little pullback, brilliant. Then the second trade, there's nearly always a deeper pullback that you can get and take the last remaining juice out of it before you stay back and either look for a double top or some sort of reversal pattern to get short if you wish. Now if you look on yesterday, we had the same sort of thing. This deeper pullback coincided with the tick pullback, but we got this consolidation and a push to a new high. When you've moved that far without pulling back, you just know there are a lot of shorts stuck. So if you just think how you would be trading if you were stuck short, you've always got to think of the other person's trade, if you like. Now, at this point, you're stuck short, for example. Let's say you've been shorting this range here and it's been working great for you. Now you're short and now you're stuck, and you haven't been disciplined and you haven't taken a stop. Now, there's nothing wrong with shorting these ranges, but if you these levels, fantastic, great. But you've got to be taking a stop if they don't work for you. Now, let's say that the traders who don't, they're stuck in it. They're stuck in it. They see this consolidation here. They think, you know what, that's great. It's going to pull back, but they're hurting now. It's moved up a fair bit. It's moved up 87 to 409 without even so much as a pullback for them. So they're thinking, oh, I'm 30 points down here. This is going to hurt. Sorry, 87 to oh no, 20 points down, 20 points down. Okay, you know they can bear that. Let's just see what happens. Then it pops again, and they think, oh, it's going to a new high. Then they get a bit of hope that this is going to pop down again, and then you get this move, and it just seems relentless. And by now they're 30, 40 points down on the trade, and they just won out. And even the guys that were holding here, 50 points down, 60 points. You know, you can just see it on the tape. They're just scrambling for the exit. So your job is to notice that, and if you got in on this tick pullback, is to wait for this capitulation, wait for this exhaustion, wait for the panic, and sell into the panic. Scale out of your long into this panic, and if it coincides with the resistance level, even better, fantastic. But there's another trade on. You know, you wait for that. That's the first trade, fantastic. But there's still another trade on. Now, there's two ways of identifying this trade. The first one is, as I've mentioned before in other videos, the little tiny downtrend line. You draw your line there, and then you wait for the break, and then you take the long. Another way of doing it is this, and I don't use moving averages very often, but when you've got a trend day like this, I'll just show you, and you can see I use a 20 period exponential moving average. There we go. You wait for that consolidation, you wait for that pullback, you wait for the volume to dry up, you wait for it to tag the moving average. The price gets squashed in between this moving average and this downtrend, and then pop straight back up. But that's a scalp trade. You know, you're looking to take the last meat of the trend, and you don't want to be a hero with this one. If you've caught this, fantastic. This is a nice little bit of cherry on the top. Take it out at the last high if you fancy scaling in, but any sort of pullback back into the range, back into the last area of trade, get out. Take your profits and get out. So that's two ways of playing trend breaks like that, and I call them surprise trades because a lot of people are surprised by them. So you often get two setups on that. And then, but the great thing about these trades is if you see this and you're not involved in it, or let's say you've taken a stop because you've been shorting these levels, you know that there's going to be at least two good setups come out of this if this continues. So you don't have to worry. Even if you didn't get any of this and you sat through all this and you watched, you could get this lovely little trade here. You wait for this pullback, the moving average to catch up to it, and then just forces the price back up. And then it's a nice little scalp. If you're quick enough to get on this first one, great. I mean, that's a great 30-point trade you've got there. And after that, the rest of it was just this was a fantastic little double top if you took it. I didn't. I was happy with after getting that good chunk and getting some good trades earlier in the morning. I was happy just to watch this, but this is another little fantastic move. You get this spike up in volume. Ticks aren't confirming, good volume aren't confirming, but then the important thing to watch is this candle straight back down. That's the important point. Not rather than just trying to pinpoint the top here, especially when you've got so much strength, is to wait for this candle to come down, pause. No, there's no pushback up. Yes, there's the short. So the short's on, and then you are either closing it at not yesterday's low, the last swing low, or you're waiting patiently and you're having your stop just a little bit above there and waiting for a further rollover. And the final setup, again, fantastic little setup if you were still trading the evening. Lovely support line here. See, I've drawn this at 10.425. Perfect support. Held for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7, 6 tests or so. We broke through. If you don't like taking the break lower because of the bullishness of the last move, I understand. Wait then for the pullback, and we got a pullback almost to the tick. I mean, this support could have been anywhere between the 23 and the 27. So pulled back to there, paused, rolled over, even had a second go if you didn't get it, and then after that it was banging its head against this 10.400 level. finally rolled over, and all the people who were bought into this were just selling again into the close. So a lovely day for day traders, probably a horrible day for investors. But the trick is to not get caught out on this, and if you are caught, close your position, take a step back, review the situation, and think there will be at least one or two good setups from this. Even if you don't get involved on the long side, even if you wait for this to happen, and you wait then for this reversal to start, or even if you decided to wait from this point, you waited all the way right until the last 50 minutes, you saw the breakdown, you waited, saw the pull back up, and in the last 20 minutes you got your lovely trade. And I mean, and this was a 50, 40, 50, 60 point trade, if anyone got that. So you could have literally waited all day for that. Again, these little trend lines are working, as I've mentioned. This one here, this was a great little play in the morning. We just coiled up into this tight triangle here. We tagged yesterday's low on the opening drive, pushed back up, couldn't push back up, rolled back over, higher low, lower high, higher low, pushed through the wedge, pulled back slightly. There you go. There's your entry. You're in. Bang. Another great trade. So keep an eye out for those. Keep an eye out for the patterns, and keep an eye out for this guy. Keep an eye on your tape. Watch to see if this type of action happens again. A third day in a row. I don't know. We'll see. But main thing is, don't get caught on it, and don't be frustrated if you miss it, because there are plenty of opportunities that come from a surprise move. Okay guys, great trading. Don't forget to go and look at the website www.thedaytradingroom.com.